Alright everybody, do we have something to talk about today? Alright, chapter 6 of the Book of Boba Fett has dropped today. And once again, this show's just gone full bonkers now. Totally insane, crazy good. Last week was obviously the Mandalorian episode, which was so good because it just felt like a straight up Mandalorian episode. And now this one, I gotta say, it feels different than the first Boba Fett episodes. And this one's still kind of like a Mandalorian episode, but it feels like so much more. It felt so big. And next week's finale is going to be off the chain. I cannot wait. I'm gonna go ahead and say, I think this is my new favorite episode. I think it topped last week's. Last week's was fun because I was like, oh, Mando's back. And then it just kept being Mando. And I was like, oh, this is like a whole episode of Mandalorian. But as the Book of Boba Fett, I feel like this has got to be the best episode so far. I caught myself just like, what? So many times. I wish I had the setup and the knowledge of how to make full episode reactions. I'm going to be looking into that some more, because I want to do that. That's something I want to do. But so far, I just haven't been able to. Alright, so let's throw a spoiler warning up there and let's start breaking down this episode. You've been warned. We open up on Tatooine in the middle of the desert. You see some pikes that kind of broke down, and you see these boots approach, and it's none other than Cod Vanth, played by Timothy Oliphant from the premiere of Mandalorian Season 2. Love him, so cool. He plays the character crazy well, and I know that he has experience in the cowboy genre because he's in Justified, I know. But it was super cool to see him again. He kind of like stops him and pretty much tells him to get the heck out of his town. Like, hey, you ain't do that spice crap here. And then they even left him some spice and he just like turned it over. Like, title, Book of Boba Fett hits. Then goes over to Mando. He's now flying his starfighter and he's going to see Grogu. So he's on the planet, whichever planet it is that Luke and Grogu are on. Lands. He's greeted by none other than R2-D2. The second time I go, oh, what? R2-D2? He tells R2-D2, I want to see the kid. And R2-D2's like, walk this way. So, he leads him through the forest. Ends up leading him to where there are like these ant type droids. They look like ants and they're carrying things like ants. And they're building a building. And then R2-D2 just kind of like shuts off. And Mando's like, hey, what the heck, hits him to turn back on. I need to see the kid. Where am I? And then the ant things start building like this bench. And the Mandalorian's like, is this a bench? How long am I supposed to wait? And like R2-D2's like, shut off and all. So Mando just kind of like sits down like, this is stupid. So then we see a wide shot and we get to see Grogu and Luke Skywalker meditating. I have to say, Luke Skywalker looks like 85% better. It looks so much better than it did in Mandalorian. And I remember after that happened, there was like a YouTuber who like did it better than they did. I think they hired him. I think I remember hearing that. So, shout out that dude because he looks so much better. Or woman, we don't know for sure. I don't know. So then they're sitting there meditating, and there's a frog hopping around. Distracts Grogu. He uses the Force. He's like pulling it towards him, opening his mouth like, I'm about to eat this thing. Then Luke, Grogu, basically tells him to put it down. But then they're sitting there meditating some more, and Luke just like brings all the nearby frogs up in the air. Just like, look what you could do, if you'd be paying attention. So then Luke takes Grogu on a walk, which is really funny since Grogu is really slow. Luke will just like use the Force and like pick him up every once in a while. And he tells him about Yoda. He's like, you remind me a lot of my master Yoda. And he talks like he talked in riddles. And he's like, do you remember if people talked like that back home? And Grogu just kind of looks down and he's like, do you remember anything about back home? And Grogu's like, he just doesn't say anything. So then he's like, do you want to remember? And he puts his hand on his head shows in the past, and it's like Grogu getting attacked by all these clones, and there's like 3 Jedi defending him. They all single-handedly get took down. So it seems to be Order 66. That's what I think it is. And I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I hate making assumptions on Star Wars because Star Wars fans are crazy. And if I get something wrong, I will be told. Which is fine. If that's wrong, let me know. But if it's right, I get points. Okay? So then Mando's laying down and there's a noise. He looks up, grabs his blaster, and it's my girl, Ahsoka. I'm like, because Ahsoka is arguably my favorite Star Wars character of like all time. She's the reason I kept watching the Clone Wars. There's a lot of other things I do like in Clone Wars. I'm gonna stop right there and keep going. So Amanda's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, I'm a friend of the family, which is another callback to Clone Wars because Anakin was her master. So then Mando's like, I'm here to see the kid. I need to see Grogu. And she's like, oh, well, that's why R2 brought you to me. And she's like, let's go on a walk. So they go on a walk to talk about Grogu and like their attachment to each other. And then she hits him with that bullcrap, like, why are you even here? Alright, she's like, are you here for Grogu or are you here for you? Because, you know, like, he's trying to train and all this, and if he sees you, it'll just slow him down. That type of bullcrap. I'm like, girl, let him see the kid. After she says that, she takes him to a place where they can see him, like from afar off. He can see Grogu and Luke. And Mando's like, I've come all this way. He's right there. You know, like, I'm just like, oh, I'm like tearing up at this point. Like, a little bit of tears. I'm like, come on, just let him see it. I get so invested. Anyways, he told her about the gift that he had, and she's like, I'll give it to him. So Mando gets in the starfighter, he takes off, and this is the tearjerker right here. As he's Grogu saw it. Grogu saw the ship, and like, as the subtitles say, he cooed and like reached out for it. And at this point, I like multiple tears were coming out of my eyes. I'm like, hey. He was in Luke's backpack. So like Luke carries him like he carried Yoda in the, what was that, Empire? So then Luke tries to teach him to jump. He's like, use the Force, you're trying too hard, use the Force to jump. And Grogu's not getting it. So then Luke puts him back in the backpack, and Luke goes and does some parkour, which he also does with Yoda on his back in Empire. So then he climbs this tree, and they look over the whole planet. And when they're looking over the whole planet, the Star Wars song is like at the end of every movie, like dun 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 dun, dun, whatever that song plays. And I was like, oh, it just felt like I don't know, it like felt cinematic watching this. Luke then decides to teach Grogu about balance, like staying on one foot, and then he starts jumping a little, and then Luke starts like waving his lightsaber in front of him. You get to see him train him quite a bit, and then he grabs one of those training remote ball things, and a very sad thing happens. He lets it zap Grogu, and I wasn't appreciative of that. I was like, just zap my boy. But it helped him because later there's a scene where he's going all these rocks out in a lake or something, and the thing's shooting at him. He's going dumb on it, jumping all over the place like a baby Yoda. And then Ahsoka shows up, and she's spectating back there. She's watching. And then Grogu reaches out and just like busts the training thing. It's so cool. Then Ahsoka approaches Luke and looks like the Mandalorian was here. What did he want? And she's like, he wanted to see the kid. He left this gift for him. Then Luke's like, okay. He's like, I just don't know if the kid's like really that into it. You know, I can't tell. And she looks at him. She's like, you're a lot like your father or something. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. I had not even thought of that until she said that like she was hanging out with Anakin's son for like, I mean, there's a thing earlier where she said something about I'm a family friend. It's like, yeah, like when she said that, I was like, oh, I love this. I'm like, I love everything about this. And then she just starts to walk off and looks like, will I see you again? She's like, perhaps, which I think is a nod to her spinoff Like, we're obviously gonna be seeing her again. If Luke and grogu show up there, I don't know. So Mando flies back to Tatooine, goes to Boba Fett's palace, as we'll call it now. And he goes inside the room, and Finnick and Boba, you know, they're laying out the plan for everybody. Everybody's there. Chrysanthemum, is that his name? Did I finally get it right? Oh my gosh. The mods are there. The guy who works for the mayor is there. Pretty much all the side characters that we've been accumulating are there. And Finnick lays out the plan details, like how the battle's gonna go down. But she's like, we need more foot soldiers. And Mando's like here, yeah, me, yeah. I think I can help with that. And you're like, ooh, because he just saw Cod earlier, and I was like, please go get him. So then, Mandalorian, he flies back to Mos Peglo, and then he's greeted by a deputy, which, greeted, it might not be the right word. He's all like, you can't park here, and all this. But then Bantha shows up, and he's like, I'll take it from here, deputy. And no one care about you. So then, Cod Vanth and Mando, they catch up. You know, he's like, where's the kid? It's like, oh, he's with his own kind. They kind of catch up. And then Mando offers to buy him a drink. They go into the bar, they get a drink. And Mando lays it out, the plan. Asks, he kind of tries to recruit him. And Vanth isn't totally into it. He's just like, it's really not none of my business. Mando's like, well, it might not yet, but it's all the same planet, you know? Eventually it will come here to Mos Peglo. And then the bartender's like, Freetown, you got it wrong. They changed the name to Freetown. It's kind of a lame name, if you ask me. Vanth eventually is just like, all right, Mando, I'll see what I can do. All right. So Mando leaves. Vanth tells the deputy, he's like, hey, gather up all the men and women of fighting age, and let's get a meeting together. I want to talk to him about something. He thinking about it. So then a gust of wind hits. Wind chime. Vanth looks over to the right, or the left, I think it was. And you see the silhouette approaching. And he's got a jacket on. He's got a hat. And just the stance, the walking. I was at work at this point, on my phone watching it. I hit pause and I threw my phone down. And I was like, there's no way. They're not doing that. There's no way. Like, I sat there with it paused for like a good 20 seconds. I was like, oh my gosh. So then I hit unpause, and Vanth's like, hey, get everyone inside. Like, is everything okay? I just want to make sure everyone get inside. And the deputy like refuses to go inside. I'm not leaving you out here by yourself. Get inside, dang it. So the deputy stays out there. He's just kind of watching. And the silhouette gets closer. And you're eventually like able to fully make it out. And it is freaking Cad Bane. And I was like, I stopped it. I paused it. I put my phone down. And I sat there like this for a while. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. I said earlier that Ahsoka is possibly my favorite Star Wars character. And that is because Cad Bane would be the other half of that. They're my favorite Star Wars characters, hands down. Grogu is right after that. So, this episode had all three of my favorite characters in it, live action, and that's why it happens. That's why it's my favorite episode. I can't believe they brought my boy into it. I've been saying this whole time, he needed to be live action. And then when this show started like getting ready to come out, my roommate, he is an actual like Star Wars fanatic. I'll even use the word nerd. He won't mind. Total Star Wars nerd, has like all the books. He has his own podcast about Star Wars, and I was asking him, I was like, what are the chances of Cad Bane showing up in this? And he's like, I think they're pretty high. Knowing him, he might have actually already knew 100% that it was showing up and just was playing coy for my sake, which I appreciate, Cole, for watching. Oh my gosh, it just made the whole thing for me. And the only thing that could have made it better if he had toothpick. And maybe if the overbite wasn't like, it's not really an overbite, but if he like bit down on his lip a lot. I was like, what's he doing that for? Oh my gosh. Throughout his like pretty much his whole scenes at first. He just like keeps his head down. And he pretty much tells, and he like, I guess I ought to get to what he was saying. He tells Vanth, it's like, look, whatever Fett's paying you, we'll match it, and you can just sit out. Vanth pretty much just tells him to get his spy runners the heck out of here. Like, we ain't messing with none of that. So it comes down to like a straight up good old Western cowboy duel. Hands on your pocket, you know, getting ready. Gaunt droid goes across the field, tumbling. That actually didn't happen, but it would have been funny. 1, 2, 3. Cad Bane shoots Vanth in the shoulder. I think he's gonna be alright. I can't say that about the deputy. The deputy got shot like 5 times. He got ugly with Mando, so I really don't care. So then Bane kind of makes like his final threat and then leaves. Total boss. Love Cad Bane. I can't wait to see him in the next episode, because in Clone Wars, the last time you see Cad Bane was like in this epic battle against Fennec. So like, I assume they're gonna have this like showdown, and apparently it's like somewhat canon, I've been told, that the reason Boba Fett has that dent in his helmet is like because of a Cad Bane fight. So like the thought of this rematch from both of them is awesome. And I kind of hope they bring Toto into it. Isn't that the name of Bane's droid? Yes. So then it goes to the bar on Tatooine that one lady owns. Some Pikes show up, pretend like they own the place. They try to clean their helmets for them. They say no. They leave. The bar blows up. I kind of hope the main lady's okay though, because like there's something going on with her. I can't really tell. So then we go back to the planet that Luke's on. We see like a more finished version of the school that was being built, the Jedi school. And Luke's laying there with Grogu, and he shows him the armor that Mando brought for him. So the Mandalorian brought this for you. He wants you to have it, but I'm gonna give you a choice. He's like, then he pulls out a lightsaber, and he's like, this was my Master Yoda's. And you're just like, what? And then he gives him the choice. He says, if you take this armor, you can return to your Mandalorian friend and be with him. If you take the lightsaber, I can train you to be a great Jedi. But the possibility of you seeing Mando again is not likely, because he ages so slow. By the time like Grogu is like, you know, like fully mastered, Mando probably dead. And I was like, ah. And then like he gives him the choices. I don't know, like the dilemma. And Grogu just kind of like looks up at him, and then it ends. So just like, what the heck, right? At this point, you don't even know what you want. It's like, I want Grogu to become this Jedi because he's obviously got the Force in him and everything. But I want him to be reunited with Mando. I think I want that more, for like 100% actually. I wanted to be with him, but I want him to be a Jedi as well. I want to know why I can't have both. That concludes the breakdown of the best Book of Boba Fett episode yet. Cad Bane. Stone Cold Cad Bane. Can't wait for next Wednesday. I'm so excited. So, if I missed something, let me know in the comment below. Also, just let me know if you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.